Radio Raheem here with Tom Loeffler. This has to be one of the most exciting moments, if not in your personal life, certainly in your professional life. Talk to me about the lead up to this fight. We're only a couple of weeks from getting in the ring. How has this promotion been different than the rest?
I tell you, from the moment we announced the fight, when I was on the phone, when Oscar De La Hoya was on the phone, giving interviews and making an announcement, I mean, from day one, it was just excitement. Having Gennady fighting against David Lemieux, the two biggest punchers in the middleweight division, two champions fighting against each other at Madison Square Garden on HBO pay-per-view. I mean, it started out very strong. The pre-sale ticket orders from MSG broke all the records. They sold 15,000 tickets in the first week, and it's just built momentum since then. Gennady just did an Apple Watch commercial, and that aired last night on Monday Night Football, so we're excited about that. It just adds a whole different dimension to the promotion.
You've been predicting that Triple G is a pay-per-view fighter from long ago. You even got some criticism saying it was too early, he can't carry that kind of promotion. Right. Now that you're here, do you feel like you've been vindicated in some respects, and do you ever see yourself going back from pay-per-views? Is he just a pay-per-view fighter now? No,
I really think it depends on the opponent. Now and it's been 5 years. We've tried to get another champion to fight Gennady, and that's why we have to give David Lemieux and his team, Camille Estefan, his manager, Oscar and Bernard at Golden Boy Promotions, I give them a lot of credit because they're the first champions legitimately to agree to fight Gennady in the ring. And like you said, I've said from the beginning, he's got the potential to fight on pay-per-view. It just took the right chemistry, the right promotion, and the right opponent, and here we are.
Now, you being a promoter, Apple Watch commercials are excellent for you. Anything and everything that gets this guy attention works well for you. But as you also know, you got to keep a fighter focused. He's got a trainer, but you being the promoter, what is your role in that, making sure that the most important job that Gennady has stays the most important job in his mind?
Well, Gennady's a consummate professional. He and Abel are 100%, regardless of what they say in interviews, they're 100% focused on David Lemieux. It's the most dangerous fight of his career. David Lemieux is a big puncher, 89% knockout ratio, 31 knockouts out of 34 wins. So you can't underestimate someone like that. It's my job to promote the event, but also to look forward. We got Cotto Canelo a month later, and the winner of Gennady and Lemieux is mandated to fight the winner of Cotto Canelo. So that's my job behind the scenes while they're focused on Lemieux on October 17th.
Now that's the mandate from the WBC, but I've talked to both of those guys and neither one of them will commit to taking that fight. So another fight that's definitely out there that could be as big, of course, is Andre Ward. And Abel Sanchez is on record calling him a liar, and they're saying that you guys are ducking the fight. Can you clear up for me what has been the negotiations or discussions between you and the Ward camp?
There's absolutely no ducking on our side. I mean, first of all, you can't duck someone in a different division. Secondly, you can't realistically make an offer after we announced the Lemieux fight, and we had such a big reaction. Then I received the offer about 3 hours later. So, I mean, to me, it's not a realistic offer. That'd be like us offering Mayweather a fight with Gennady after he announced the Berto fight. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I'm a little bit surprised that Andre came out like that and said that Gennady, is ducking him, but. I think he's at the point of his career that he sees how much more attention Gennady's selling out 20,000 seat arenas. He's headlining his own pay-per-view, and from everything that I've heard, Dan Raphael wrote it that he's moving up to 175. So I think in some strange marketing way, he wanted to say like Golovkin turned down the fight and now he's going to go to 175. But why would he wait for Gennady at 168? Abel said it best. The best way for Andre to get that fight is to build up his career again to a marketable level, and then that's the only way Pacquiao and Floyd happened, was because it was the biggest fight possible. And if Andre comes back and he gets good ratings and sells tickets, then that's a great fight. We never discounted him as a fighter or as a champion. It's just his marketability hasn't been in line with his skills.
And lastly, Tom, Golden Boy just lost with Matisse yesterday, so we know, or last week, so we know that anything can happen. Have you had discussions with Golden Boy yet? Last time we spoke, you said you hadn't really talked about the possibility of Canelo, Triple G, should Canelo win, of course, and Triple G be successful. Have those discussions yet happened?
No, I mean, it'd be premature on their side as well as on our side. You'd have to look for a date, you have to look for a venue, And you can't really start doing that until we actually know what happens October 17th. I can't even overlook David Lemieux. I mean, I can plan ahead, but you can't have realistic discussions for dates and venues and locations if unless you know what the result is, both October 17th and November 21. And then, like you said, like we saw with the Chavez fight, there's no guarantee that the winner would even fight him, but even though it's mandated by the WBC. But the WBC has said if the winner doesn't fight, then they'll be stripped of the title. So, Gennady just wants to be recognized as the unified middleweight champion and the best middleweight in the world.
And I'm going to ask you one last question, but it's going to be a double up. On the one hand, if Cotto wins, obviously he's not as big as Triple G, and they seem to be giving some kind of indication that they don't want to fight that big. Are you at all willing to discuss a catchweight there? And then if Canelo wins, and what Oscar's been saying is, oh, well, what if it's a great fight and we need a rematch or whatever? Is there any way that you would step aside and let him retain that WBC for a rematch?
Well, to address the Cotto situation, again, I have a good personal relationship with Miguel and Brian and Gabby, so there's no animosity there. It's just that he's the WBC middleweight champion. He's actually considered by Dan Rafael as the lineal middleweight champion, and that somehow puts him in Dan's ratings above Gennady. So, a middleweight champion is at 160 pounds, and if it's mandated, that fight would happen at 160 pounds. As far as the Canelo fight, I fully expect Cotto Canelo to be a great fight, a war and between two great champions. And if they want to do a rematch, that would be fine on the business side for them, but they wouldn't be doing it with the WBC title. So that's the focus is not the opponents, is more of the titles. That's what Gennady's focus has been. We couldn't do a fight with Peter Cullen when he was WBO champion. We couldn't do the fight with Felix Sturm when he was a WBA super champion. There's been so many champions out there that we couldn't make unifications fights for, and that's why he wants to just, when the opportunity is there, he wants to unify the titles.
Tom Loeffler, I always appreciate the time and the candor. Good luck on October 17th at Madison Square Garden. Radio Raheem with Tom Loeffler.